While we all love playing a new Pokemon game, I think a lot of us, or at least myself, love the build-up to a new Pokemon game. When we're getting new Pokemon or forms revealed, when we're seeing footage of the game and, we're getting announcements, and it's just a really, really exciting time. But the marketing cycles for Pokemon games can vary greatly, and there's a lot of discourse amongst the fans on which game had the best marketing cycle. Today we're going to be looking at all of the marketing cycles since Pokemon X and Y and be deciding which game has the best marketing cycle, and you guys can let me know your opinion after we go through all this in the comments below. Welcome back to the post where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today, you already know what we're doing, looking back at all the Pokemon games since X and Y, and deciding which had the best marketing cycle. Why are we starting at X and Y? Well, X and Y were the first Pokemon games to release simultaneously worldwide. I think actually it may have released a little bit earlier or later for Europe, but either way, these are the first Pokemon games to where everybody was involved, and it wasn't like the game's releasing in Japan and then a couple months later it'll release in the West. No, it's everyone. Everyone's getting excited. It's unifying. It was a really big moment. I would describe that as that being the modern era of Pokemon, especially with the jump to 3D with these games. So let's get right into it with Pokemon X and Y. So the game was actually revealed in January of 2013. Oftentimes, we as Pokemon fans are used to getting our new game reveal on Pokemon Day. But that was not the case with X and Y. It was revealed in January. With this first trailer, of course, we got the reveal that we would be moving into 3D and that this game would be for the 3DS, the first game on the Nintendo 3DS system. But also, we did get the reveal of Chespin, Froakie, and Fennekin, our starters for this new game. And we also got to see Xerneas and Yveltal. We did not get them officially revealed quite yet, but we did get to see Xerneas and Yveltal and know, oh, okay, well, that one's the X Legendary and that one's the Y Legendary. But they do decide to reveal Xerneas and Yveltal's names the next day. Now, we still don't get their typings revealed. Xerneas is a Fairy-type Pokemon, so we don't get that revealed to us quite yet because the Fairy type doesn't exist yet, and it'll be a while before they reveal that. But moving into February, we have on the horizon with the anime is this Genesect movie coming out, and alongside this Genesect movie is going to be a little short featuring Eevee. And for this short, a new Pokemon is revealed, Sylveon. They revealed this in February, even though the movie wouldn't release in Japan until July or June of that year. And with the reveal of Sylveon, we know we're getting a new evolution. We do not get its typing revealed yet, so this, again, was because Sylveon's the Fairy type, and they're not wanting to disclose that yet. So there's a ton of fun speculation going on in the community about, okay, well, what is this Pokemon? Is it a flying type, maybe? Because, it's got these ribbons that are, blowing in the wind. Maybe, could that be it? It's kind of like a kite. I don't know. What could it be? And see, now we're in this really fun time with X and Y. We don't get this anymore. You'll see it go away as we start going through these. But there was this magazine, that it still exists actually, it's called CoroCoro. It exists in Japan, and used to CoroCoro would try to coincide with Pokemon news. So if Pokemon's planning a trailer this month that's going to reveal this, CoroCoro would reveal this. But the issue is, CoroCoro, while it's typically due for release in I think the 15th, it would typically leak a couple days early, sometimes as early as the 8th or something, so a whole week early. So oftentimes, CoroCoro would beat Pokemon to the punch and would have a reveal before the Pokemon company was ready to reveal it, and that's exactly what was happening here. It leaked Sylveon, and then a month later, it actually leaked Mega Mewtwo Y. But there was a bit of a catch with Mega Mewtwo Y. We did see this new form. We saw that it was going to be featured in the Genesect movie, but it wasn't called Mega Mewtwo Y. And in fact, when it was first revealed, it wasn't called anything. And some people were wondering, is this a new Pokemon? Is this Mew 3? We didn't know. It was said to have some kind of relation to Mewtwo, but that was it. A little bit later in March, we do finally get told that this is a new form of Mewtwo. Now, it's still not called Mega Mewtwo. It's called Awakened Mewtwo. So that's kind of all we have to go off of for now. A little later down the road, CoroCoro strikes again, leaking to us Gogoat, Helioptile, Fletchling, and Pancham, as well as the name of the region and also the name of the main city of the Kalos region, Lumio City, which people were able to gather from it. Oh, so this region is going to be based on France because, the Eiffel Tower kind of makes that obvious. It also revealed that there would be trainer customization, which was a huge deal. Now we kind of take that for granted. We kind of expect it from Pokemon, but back in the day, you were this one character, you did not have any customization, but here CoroCoro had revealed that you would be able to change the skin tone or hair color of your player when you first started out. So it was a huge deal at the time. I remember people going nuts over this. Another thing that no longer exists in the Pokemon hype cycle is E3. This was a big expo that would usually take place, I think it always took place in the United States, but this would feature multiple different game companies and stuff coming and showing off what they've got cooking. Nintendo would be there, Xbox would be there, PlayStation would be there, everyone would be there. Nintendo would always hold a presentation, they would do a Nintendo Direct, and in this year's Nintendo Direct, they do reveal the fairy type officially. They reveal that this game will be bringing us a brand new type. They reveal that, hey, that Pokemon you saw, Sylveon, that new evolution? That's actually a fairy type. And not only this, but we're going to be revisiting past Pokemon, and we're going to be giving them the fairy type. So they reveal that Pokemon like Gardevoir and Azumarill are going to get the fairy type. They also reveal 2 new Pokemon in Noivern and Vivillon. They also say Vivillon is the evolved form of Spupa, so we kind of know there's something called Spupa, but we don't get to see it just yet. And then a trailer at the event that's just playing, it's not even in the Nintendo Direct, reveals the player search system, the Pokemon Ami feature, Sky Battles, Horde encounters, Clauncher, Skrelp, and Talonflame. So it was a huge reveal. And then a couple days later, we get CoroCoro leaks, and CoroCoro leaks Scatterbug and Spupa, so we now finally get to see that little Spupa guy. Litleo, Flabebe, we get to see the starting town and kind of our friend group, and Viola and Alexa. And then a trailer comes out 2 days later that shows off this stuff, as well as revealing the roller skates feature in the Kalos region. But that's actually still not all we get in June. June was a stacked month for this game. So a little bit later in June, this Genesect movie finally comes out, which again has a short that has Sylveon. In the movie is Mega Mewtwo Y, though we're being told it's Awakened Mewtwo right now. But right before the movie, they play a little trailer, and this trailer actually shows Trevenant off. It shows a Horde encounter where there's a Trevenant. Now, the neat thing about this is they don't release this trailer to the public, so you just kind of have hearsay for a little bit. People go to the theater and they see it, but you don't get to see it. It's not online, you don't get to see it, so people are kind of just describing it's like a walking tree, and it looks kind of scary, it might be a dark type or a ghost type. Yeah, it was so much fun. God, I love that they did this stuff. In July, there's this event in Japan called the Japan Expo. Junichi Masuda attends it and reveals Honedge to the world, so now we get to see Honedge. We then also get CoroCoro leaks for Yveltal and Xerneas, kind of showing off their typings and their abilities, so now we know Xerneas is that new fairy type. And it also shows off Pangoro, Inkay, Malamar, Spritzy, Swirlix, Grant, Clement, Professor Sycamore, and Team Flare. There's a trailer for all this a day later, but holy cow, they just throw Pokemon right at our face. Then in August, CoroCoro leaks the big gimmick of the game, Mega Evolution. And with this, of course, they leak that Mewtwo we saw, Awakened Mewtwo, is actually a Mega Mewtwo. Interestingly enough, they still don't call it Mega Mewtwo Y yet, because that implies a Mega Mewtwo X, right? So they just say, oh, that's Mega Mewtwo. They also reveal with this Mega Mawile, Ampharos, Absol, Lucario, and Blaziken, and they reveal Skiddo, Bunnelby, Dedenne, and Karina. There's a trailer the next day that shows this off, and then later at Worlds, they reveal Mega Kangaskhan. So we're in the Mega season now. They also drop a demo a little bit after that. I think actually it might have been at Worlds, but either way, they drop a demo. Now, it's not available to the public. They just kind of have people attend it. And from one of these demos, someone actually by chance runs into a shiny Sylveon, so we now know what shiny Sylveon looks like, so that's nice. In September, we are given a Pokemon Direct, which was the old name of the Pokemon Presents, and this reveals the Mega Kanto starters, showing off Mega Venusaur, Mega Blastoise, and then they show off Mega Charizard Y. They don't show us Mega Charizard X yet. They kind of act like this is Mega Charizard. And then they also show Furfrou in it, but they don't, or Furfrou, excuse me, but they don't reveal its name. They just kind of, you see it in the trailer. CoroCoro then later leaks the starter mid-stages, so Frogadier, Quilladin, and Braixen. It also reveals the Kalos fossil first stages, so Amara and Tyrant. And it officially reveals Furfrou, Meowstic, Mega Mewtwo X, showing off that, hey, you know that Mega Mewtwo you saw? That was Mega Mewtwo Y. Here's Mega Mewtwo X. There's two of them. Mega Garchomp is also shown here. They show the Fairy type chart so you can kind of see how Fairy matches up against other types. And then on the same day, IGN accidentally leaks Pyroar. And so Pyroar is officially revealed the next day, and the CoroCoro leaks that I mentioned are in a trailer 2 days later that also reveals the Team Flare scientist and also Diantha, the champion of the Kalos region. Tyrantrum and Aurorus are then revealed in a trailer, and then a little bit later, Doublade is revealed. So another really stacked month. We then have, before the game's release in October, we have the release of Pokemon Origins, which was this really celebratory thing that they did that kind of was an animated, I think, 4-part feature that had Red story. So it was really neat, but it actually ends with Red Mega Evolving his Charizard into Mega Charizard X, revealing that, hey, Charizard, that previous one you saw is Mega Charizard Y, this is Mega Charizard X. There's two of them. Charizard's got 2 Mega Evolutions. Also on the same day, Aromatisse and Slurpuff are revealed in a pamphlet, so that was interesting too. A trailer officially shows off Mega Charizard X the next day. It's a dragon type. People are excited. Charizard's finally a dragon. So this game then releases in October. So it had a pretty full year hype cycle. It was revealed in January and then got released in October. So it had 10 months of, showing off stuff before the game's release, and they showed something every single month except for 1 month. There was only 1 month where there was no Pokemon X and Y news. And there were multiple trailers just throughout the year that wouldn't necessarily show anything, but would kind of show new shots of the region. I think one of them had the trainer running by the daycare, so you could actually see a new Pokemon in the background. This would be Esper, but we didn't know what it was at the time. It was a great time to be a Pokemon fan. In May of the next year, 2014, we get our next hype cycle. We get the games revealed for the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. With this, we do get to see the box art, so we see Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon, though we actually don't know that these are Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. In fact, a lot of people are calling them, a lot of people are thinking that's just like kind of a cosmetic design just to kind of make the box art look cool. People were kind of on the fence on what exactly this was. There's kind of some radio silence on this for a little bit, but then CoroCoro does leak later down the road Mega Swampert, Sceptile, and Diancie, as well as leaking the primal forms for Kyogre and Groudon, officially naming them. So now we know, hey, that's not just a cosmetic thing. These are brand new forms for Kyogre and Groudon. It also shows off the protagonist designs, Steven, and also the Aqua and Magma redesigns, because Aqua and Magma went through some pretty heavy redesigns for these games. A lot of characters did, but Aqua and Magma, Aqua especially, had probably the biggest redesign. And then we do also get the Mach and Acrobike returning, so that's kind of revealed. I don't think that's a huge reveal, but people were excited. I remember that. I had, at this point, not played the original Ruby and Sapphire games, so I remember being really confused why people were excited about a bike, but people were. 3 days later, a trailer officially reveals all this information, and then a little bit later that month, we get a trailer revealing Mega Sableye, which was really exciting, because now we know, we're going to get new Megas in this game, which was pretty cool. I mean, before, Pokemon remakes typically didn't introduce a lot of new forms. If they did, it was kind of for the legendaries, really, and definitely not on this scale. Later on, we get another CoroCoro leak, this time leaking Mega Metagross. We also get Cosplay Pikachu. We get Arun, the new character revealed, as well as some new designs for some gym leaders and also Professor Birch's official art. And a trailer comes out for that about 5 days later. Then the next month, CoroCoro leaks again. Mega Altaria, Lopunny, Salamence, and Lycia and the new contest. There's a trailer for that 2 days later. Then the Korean website, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire's hype cycle is pretty much all leaks. Listen to this. The Korean website for the Pokemon Company accidentally posts early. They post Mega Slowbro and Mega Audino early. This is taken down very quickly, and then an official trailer comes out 2 days later at Gamescom for Audino, and 4 days later at Worlds, they reveal Mega Slowbro. So someone definitely lost their job there. The next month, we have CoroCoro leak Mega Camerupt, Gallade, Sharpedo, Wally, some more details on Primal Kyogre and Groudon, and they also tease that there's a connection between Rayquaza and the secrets of Mega Evolution. What could that be? And then there's a trailer for all that 2 days later. You can really understand why Pokemon moved away from CoroCoro. I miss it. I'm not saying that I don't miss it. I do very much miss it. But as like a putting myself in the business mindset, I think that I'd be like, yeah, we gotta stop using these guys. I can understand that. In October, Mega Rayquaza is officially revealed. We do get leaks for from CoroCoro for Mega Pidgeot, Beedrill, and the Latios and Latias Mega Evolutions, but this one's kind of interesting because we actually had already seen those. They were in the data mine for Pokemon X and Y. Mega Latios and Mega Latias are in the data for those games, so we had seen them, but, you know, there's question of, like, would it be scrapped? Are they still using it? And now we got officially revealed that, like, oh, yeah, here they are, you know, so it was something. This CoroCoro leak also showed off the soaring feature with Mega Latios and Latias, which, you know, of course, a lot of people were big fans of. It shows off the legendary Pokemon hunting in Oris. It shows off the new Pokenav, and then we get a trailer for it 4 days later. They also start handing out demos, and this demo was playable for everyone. You could download it on your 3DS and play it. This demo revealed Mega Glalie and Mega Steelix, so that was a lot of fun, but it did something so much worse. So the demo is basically made from the build of the actual game. So because of that, you can data mine the demo and get a lot of information about the actual game from it. So people did that, and a lot of stuff got leaked, like the Hoopa Unbound form, which people were actually calling Mega Hoopa at the time, and all kinds of other stuff, you know, all the remaining Megas. It wasn't great. It was definitely an oopsie, and you'll see it happen again, but we'll get to that. And then in November, before Oris's release, they do first have a leak from CoroCoro, and then a trailer the next day showing off Zinnia and the Delta episode. Now, again, some of the stuff we could kind of already piece together from the Oris demo, but if you weren't involved in that, or if you're like a little kid, this is the first time you're hearing about it, so it was still a big deal. So Oris had its reveal in May, and then it came out in November, so about 6-month hype cycle. I don't think every single month had Oris news, but it definitely did feel pretty heavy. CoroCoro ran the show this time. For Oris, it was 99% CoroCoro, and then the Pokemon Company playing catch-up. And the one time Pokemon Company had their own thing, they accidentally leaked it. So, you know, not great. Not a great hype cycle. Also, too, I do want to say that this is a remake, right? It's Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It kind of has less to reveal than a main generation game, so it's kind of hard to compare the two, but still I'm throwing it in here just because. Then we enter Sun and Moon. This one is stacked. Like, this is famous or infamous, depending on who you ask, for being just absolutely stacked. So for some context, this was the 20th anniversary of the Pokemon franchise, so they didn't want you to forget that Pokemon existed. Along with Sun and Moon releasing this year, we also got the virtual console releases of the Gen 1 games. We got Pokemon Go came out, which was a huge deal. Y'all remember Pokemon Go Mania, right? Like, that was insane. And just, you know, tons of Pokemon events throughout the year. And of course, this included a Sun and Moon trailer every 5 seconds, it started to feel like. So to make sure I get everything, I'm gonna shamelessly just be reading this list that I wrote. So first, in February, we get a leak from CoroCoro about Magearna. Now, this isn't Sun and Moon, but this Pokemon doesn't exist in the Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, or X and Y data, so we're kind of assuming this has to be a Pokemon from whatever the next Pokemon game is. And yeah, so it's Magearna, it's revealed, that's cool. Then right before Pokemon Day, the day before, some trademarks are filed, and we get the first look at some logos that the Pokemon Company filed a trademark for, and it's the logos for Pokemon Sun and Moon. So they accidentally kind of leaked their game ahead of time there. Yikes. But then we get a reveal on Pokemon Day of Sun and Moon. It shows off this concept art and stuff for the game. People were able to guess Hawaii by a few details in the concept art. Like, I remember a big thing that people were saying was that one of the cars shown has a license plate with a rainbow on it, which is the Hawaii state license plate. So yeah, it was all adding up. The next month, we do get an official trailer for the Volcanium movie, which kind of shows us more of Magearna, and we get to see it kind of moving around and stuff, so that was fun. And then CoroCoro reveals that they will have monthly info on Sun and Moon starting in April. Yet, oddly enough, the next month, all it is just Magearna's typing. We get Magearna's typing, it's Steel Fairy, so not the greatest reveal, but thank you for trying CoroCoro. But don't worry, they'll be back. Then we have the trademarks in April are leaked for Solgaleo and Lunala. So we can see that these are trademarks filed, and people are starting to assume these might be the box legendaries of Pokemon Sun and Moon. We then, in May, get a trailer showing off the box art, the starters, the release date of this game coming out in November of that year. They show the box legends. They're not officially named yet, though. And then they also kind of show Hala, but they don't really, like, dedicate a spotlight to him or anything. You just see him in the trailer because he gives you your starter Pokemon. And then they also reveal that there's some customization, at least with, like, the skin tone of your character. And a little bit later in the month, there is a trailer that shows Rockruff. You can kind of see it in the overworld, but it doesn't reveal Rockruff. But, like, people are like, hey, that's a new Pokemon, which was such a fun thing they did back then with those trailers. In June, we get a trailer that officially reveals the region and gives a map. So people are like, okay, well, we thought it was Hawaii. Now we know it. I mean, honestly, we knew it was Hawaii with the starters reveal trailer because it was just very Hawaiian vibes. The music was very Hawaiian vibes. So people already got it. But now, like, here it is. It's called Alola. That's clearly, like, supposed to sound like Aloha. I mean, you know, we're not stupid. We know it's Hawaii. We get the map. We get the Rotom deck shown off. We also get the official reveal of the box legends. And it also reveals Professor Kukui, Lily, and Hau. A little bit later, we get a trailer showing off Zygarde's 10% in complete forms, revealing that they will be in Pokemon Sun and Moon, which a lot of people assumed, but it was nice to get the hard confirmation of that since we'd seen these guys in the anime, but it was like, okay, we're not getting Pokemon Z, what's happening here? Are we getting these Pokemon? So it was nice to see, okay, yeah, they're going to be in Pokemon Sun and Moon. CoroCoro then strikes again. CoroCoro this month leaks Komala and Rockruff. Then at E3, they reveal, officially, Pikipek, Grubbin, and Yungoos. They also do a Treehouse Live where they show off some gameplay of the game, kind of showing the early part of the game. A trailer leaks a little bit later, but then officially drops. Someone hit the button on accident, I guess. And this trailer shows off Charjabug, Vikavolt, Cutiefly, Bruxish, Togedemaru, and Tapu Koko. In July, we have that Japan Expo again. Here, Salandit is officially revealed. We also get some leaks from CoroCoro for Beware and Mimikyu. There's a trailer the next day that show off these Pokemon, as well as show off Pokerides. And then a little bit later, in that same month, we get another trailer. This time, it shows us Wimpod, Bounsweet, Comfey, Mudsdale, and also Hyper Training, the new thing you can do with bottle caps to max your Pokemon's IVs. August comes and we get our big trailer. Something you'll see with Pokemon is that there's typically a big trailer in August. And here in this August trailer, we get the reveal of Alolan forms, a brand new thing, regional variation in Pokemon. Some Pokemon can look different and have a different typing in a different region, and that was insane at the time. With this, we get the reveal of Alolan Exeggutor, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Vulpix, and Ninetales. We also get the reveal of Oricorio in all of its forms, and we get the reveal of Minior, and it having two different forms. We also get the reveal of Gumshoos, Fomantis, Lurantis, and Mudbray. They also, I'm not done, in this trailer, they also reveal Z moves and the island challenges, showing off the, totem Pokemon you have to fight. Then a little bit later in the month, CoroCoro leaks Alolan Meowth and Marowak, as well as Wishiwashi, Sandygast, Palossand, Stuffle, Team Skull, and Pyukumuku. On the same day, images from a trailer that's supposed to come out reveal Morlul, Pyukumuku, and also Alolan Raichu. The trailer then drops the next day. So again, somebody hit the send button early. They've really, I'll tell you this about Pokemon. I would say they've really tightened their security, because it seems like they had, because this kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. But then the Terra Leak happened last year. So, you know, maybe that's just a common theme that they have. We do also get at Gamescom the reveal of Turtonator, and then at Worlds they revealed Crabrawler, which was really funny. They showed it like beating Mega Kangaskhan. We're like, oh, look how powerful this Pokemon is. And Crabrawler kind of actually sucks. So yeah. In September, we get the reveal of Alolan Rattata and also Snorlax's exclusive Z-move, and we're told, you know, hey, if you order the game early, you get a Munchlax, and this Munchlax has the Snorlium Z, and that's how you get Snorlax's Z-move. So yeah. We get a trailer that reveals Titanol, Jangmo-O, Alolan Raticate, Gladion, Lusamine, the Ether Foundation, and it also reveals to us Ultra Beast, showing Nihilego, but not naming it Nihilego yet. They all had these code names. It'd be like UB blank, and that's how we got the reveal of Nihilego. We then later get a trailer showing off Samson Oak. Oak's basically a Alolan form. We see CoroCoro leaking both the Lycanroc forms, Midnight and Midday. You know, Dusk doesn't exist yet. That's a big spoiler. And we also see in this CoroCoro leak Buzzwole and Pheromosa. Again, though, since they're Ultra Beasts, they are not called Buzzwole and Pheromosa. They're called UB Beauty and UB... I forget what Buzzwole's name is, but they're all UB somethings. We then get a trailer a little bit later that shows these off, as well as showing Oranguru, Passimian, and Pikachu's Z-move. Then we move into October, where we're about to hit, you know, the release of this game in November, so they're really pushing it in October. First, we get a trailer showing off the mid-stage starters, so we get the reveal of Dartrix, Brionne, and Torracat. We get the reveal of Festival Plaza and Ash Greninja being obtainable from the demo for these games that's going to come out later this month. CoroCoro leaks Alolan Grimer, Hakamo-O, Como-O, and Silvally. A trailer the next day shows this, as well as Alolan Muck, Sarina, Steenie, and Ribombee. We then get this little leak from the TCG where they're showing off like merch that they're going to do, and one of them is a tin with Marini on it. We don't get the name, but we're like, oh, that's a new Pokemon. Alolan Persian is then revealed, and then the demo drops, and again, just like with Oris, basically leaks everything. And this is the last time we'll have a playable demo of these games, likely for this reason. You know, they don't want us to see everything early, and we did. We could data mine it and get everything early. A trailer drops a little bit later, revealing the final starters and the remaining Tapus, as well as Cosmog and the Battle Tree, and with the Battle Tree, the return of Red, Blue, and Cynthia. So this was a big deal at the time. You know, Red and Blue returning was huge. Again, a lot of this was found from the data mine, but you know, if you hadn't seen that, then it was a cool little reveal for you. CoroCoro then leaks Kartana, Celesteela, Guzzlord, and Necrozma. There's a trailer for these 2 days later. Again, though, you know how it is. UBs don't get names. They get UB blank. So that's how it was for all of these. And then the game drops in November. So this one was revealed on Pokemon Day, and then the game drops in November. You'll start to see a pattern with that, at least for new generations. And yeah, that's about a, 9-month hype cycle, so pretty good. And there was something every month, and then some months there was so much that it was like painful. So, you know, yeah, I remember really enjoying it at the time, but it's definitely not a cycle that I'd prefer. Next, we have Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, which were the kind of better versions of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Just like with Oris, because these are pretty much remakes of Sun and Moon, they didn't have like the world's greatest marketing cycle, but just because they have less to show off. That said, in June, these games are revealed. With this, of course, we get the box art, we get some footage of the game, kind of seeing that Alola looks a little different, and also we get the release date for November of that year. CoroCoro then leaks the I Choose You cap Pikachu to tie in with the I Choose You movie. They state that this will be available in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. and it's officially revealed 2 days later. Then in August, CoroCoro leaks a small image of a new Pokemon, a Dusk form of Lycanroc. We don't get any information on it. We're not even told that it's a Dusk Lycanroc, but then the next day they officially reveal it. And this was actually a really, really cool reveal. They revealed it by showing the anime clip of Ash's Rockruff evolving into this Dusk Lycanroc. It was a lot of fun. This is actually one of my favorite Pokemon, so this is like a core memory to me. I loved this so much. We later in August get a trailer that reveals that there will be more Pokemon-specific Z-moves. So just kind of let us know, hey, there's going to be more things like how Snorlax and Alolan Raichu got exclusive Z-moves. We then at Gamescom get the reveal of the first one of these, Komoo's signature Z-move, Clangorous Soul Blaze. What a crazy name. Then in September, CoroCoro leaks that the box art of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are actually Necrozma forms. A trailer the next day reveals this and also reveals Stakataka and Blacephalon. Just like with Sun and Moon, though, these are not given their actual names. They're called Eevee Assembly, and I'm blanking on Blacephalons, but Eevee, whatever. We then have a reservation pamphlet in Japan that gives the first look at the Ultra Recon Squad, but it doesn't name them, so we just kind of get an appearance that, hey, there's some kind of new character. And then we later in September get a trailer that reveals Mantine Surf, the Photo Club, and also some island trial changes, like Mina now having her own island trial. Then in October, we get a trailer that reveals the Ultra Recon Squad officially. We then get a trailer that reveals Blacephalon and Stakataka's typings. We get a reveal of Poipole, and we also get the official reveal of the Ultra Recon Squad and Ultra Space Travel. So, you know, that whole feature that was kind of a big deal in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is revealed here. We then get a leak from CoroCoro that there are new Rotom Dex Z powers. We get a trailer for this the next day. And then there's a trailer at the end of October that reveals the legendary encounters that occur in Ultra Space. And they also kind of state that the post-game and the story of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will be twice that of Sun and Moon's. We then, in November, before the game's release, get a trailer revealing Team Rainbow Rocket, the Battle Agency, and the Totem stickers. We also see Mimikyu's Z-move a little before release, and then we get a teaser right before the game comes out. We get a trailer that shows Necrozma kind of changing form, teasing its Ultra Necrozma form, but we don't get to see it. We just get right up to where we could see it. And then, of course, the game releases. So this was revealed in June, released in November, 5 months for a remake that's, you know, pretty good. An extended version, whatever you want to call this. That's pretty good for it to not be a brand new generation game. The next year in 2018, we have Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. This is announced in May at like a little press conference they did. And it shows off that, hey, these games are going to connect to Pokemon Go. It's going to be on Switch. It's going to have a co-op mode. It's also going to have a new capture system. So it was a pretty big reveal. We then get a demo of it at E3, just kind of people getting to play it and talking about what it looked like, the Pokemon, the overworld, all this. The trailer at E3 reveals the Pokeball Plus. It tells us that there'll be size differences for the first time in a mainline Pokemon game. There'll be gym requirements, so things like how you have to have a water or grass type to enter Brock's gym. The Go Park being the replacement for the Safari Zone, and it also reveals your rival in these games, Trace. Blah. We then later in June get a trailer showing customization for Eevee and Pikachu, which was a big deal. You couldn't customize Pokemon before, so that was neat, and that's something that still, as of now, is exclusive to those games, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. We get a trailer that shows off in July, Brock and Misty, Eevee getting a gender difference, so you know how the female one now has like a little heart tail. Trainer customization and version exclusives are shown off a little bit, and then we later get a trailer that shows off some legendary battles and shows Jesse and James. In August, CoroCoro leaks that Megas will be returning, and Sabrina and Lieutenant Surge get a trailer just the next day. Then in September, we get a trailer revealing new Eevee and Pikachu moves like Batty Bad. Yeah. And also that these games will get an exclusive Nintendo Switch designed like for these games. Some early reviews and overviews drop this month. We also find out that trainers from Alola and Alolan forms are going to be appearing in-game. We see the next month that Meltan starts appearing in Go, but it's a Ditto when it's caught. This was actually a big deal. People kind of thought that this was like an error and someone clicked a button too early, but no, it was all a big tease. Meltan's officially revealed a few days later. We then get, we're now in October, actually. I believe I misspoke earlier, but we're now in October. Melmetal is teased but not revealed. Like, we see Meltan change form or evolve, but we don't see what it is. Then we get a new trailer showing off the Mewtwo encounter. We get a new trailer showing off the Master Trainers, which was the post-game of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And then we finally get a trailer officially revealing Melmetal. And then right before the game's release in November, we get new details on the new IV system, and we get the trailer showing the Elite Four, Giovanni, Red, Blue, and Green. So yeah, again, this game didn't have much to offer, but it released in November, was revealed in May, it had about 6-month hype cycle, and there was something every month for it. Now, Sword and Shield is a very interesting one. A lot of the ones from here are very interesting, because Sword and Shield was actually revealed before it was revealed, and you might go, well, what do you mean? Well, basically at E3 in 2017, so keep in mind that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon hasn't even quite been announced yet. They reveal, Ishihara specifically reveals that they are working on a Switch game. A little bit later, they reveal that this Switch game will be coming out in 2018 or later. And then, in May of 2018, they reveal that, hey, we're doing this Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee thing, but that's not even the Switch game we told you all about last year. That game will be coming out in 2019. In June of 2018, a Famitsu interview reveals that this game is due for release in the second half of 2019. It'll have better graphics than any previous Pokemon game, and that'll be completely new and aimed at experienced fans, not like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which were supposed to be for some new fans and not experienced fans. And then it also said that this game will contain many brand new Pokemon. We then, in July of 2018, get the release date slated for not second half, but late 2019. And then finally, on Pokemon Day 2019, the game is officially revealed, as well as the region name, Galar, a map of it, and the starters Scorbunny, Sobble, and Grookey. And of course, we know the names of the games now, Sword and Shield. So the next month, there is a tweet that is by the Nintendo of America, but then it's quickly deleted, where they basically reveal, hey, all those stadiums on the maps are gyms, confirming the return of gyms, because they were absent in Sun and Moon, so this was kind of a big deal. And people were kind of figuring them, but it was nice to get that hard confirmation. CoroCoro then announces that they're doing the next month a contest to name, only for Japan, the move that we in the West now know as Steel Beam. They're like, hey, this is the move. They describe the move, and they're like, enter your name ideas for this move. Then we have the next month, this is kind of controversial. So the Pokemon Company did a t-shirt contest where you basically design a t-shirt. And there were some rules to the contest. Obviously, you can't plagiarize, but you can't self-plagiarize either, meaning that your shirt design has to be completely original and not just you taking an old design you made and reusing it for this contest. You can't do that. Well, they announced that, hey, we found a winner, and surprise, this will actually be in the game Pokemon Sword and Shield. You will get to wear this shirt in Sword and Shield. And then a little bit later, they find out that the winner actually did self-plagiarize. They had already made that design before the contest. So they canceled the whole thing altogether, didn't give it to second place, and removed it from the game. Said this will not be featured in the game after all. And that was it. But the bright side was we did get trainer customization confirmed, so that's nice. We then get the reveal of Pokemon Home in May. This is how we're going to be getting our Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and also from the 3DS games over to the Nintendo Switch, and thus onto Pokemon Sword and Shield. We then have a Pokemon Direct in June that reveals Corviknight, Wooloo, Dreadnought, Gossifleur, Eldegoss, Zacian, and Zamazenta. It reveals Dynamax, the Corviknight Taxis, Hop, Leon, Milo, the Rotom Phone, Max Raids, and the Wild Area. We also do spot a Squavit in the stands of the stadium, but we don't know what it is. We just know that's a Pokemon we haven't seen before. Then, later at E3, Nessa is revealed. And so is Dexit. one of the darkest moments in the Pokemon franchise history. The makers of the game reveal that this game will start a new chapter for Pokemon, where not all of your Pokemon will be able to be in this game. Instead, only Pokemon chosen specifically for this game will appear in it. So this was super controversial, and as you will see, it will haunt the marketing cycle of Sword and Shield. Allow me to get into it. So, before we get into it, there is a fun little thing. At E3, they did have a demo, and at that demo, people did see Impidimp and Yamper. So we kind of got two new Pokemons revealed through that. Impidimp was really cool because people didn't know its typing, so they were having to use different moves against it to try to piece together what its typing could be by what it was able to resist and what it took super effective damage from, etc., etc. So that was kind of neat. And then it was revealed a few days later that Mega Evolution and Z moves will not return in Sword and Shield. So, you know how not all the Pokemon are returning? Yeah, neither are two beloved gimmicks, or at least one beloved gimmick and Z moves. In July, we get a trailer that reveals Duraludon, Roly-Poly, and Alchemy, as well as Bee, Alistair, and Gigantamax, specifically showing Gigantamax forms for Alchemy, Dreadnought, and Corviknight. We get the name of Steel Beam. It's officially named in Japan. It's like kind of a pun off of Do or Die. It's basically called like Do or Die Beam or Destroyer Beam, and it's like it's a pun that doesn't make sense in English, but it does in Japan. So that's neat. Then we find out that Duraludon specifically learns it, and a Sword and Shield themed Switch Lite is revealed with the reveal of the console, the Switch Lite. And throughout this month, there are multiple interviews with the Pokemon Company kind of responding to Dexit and saying like, oh, you know, we see that you care and we thank you that you care, but also we have to make high quality animations, which, you know, that'll bite them in the butt. And then saying things like, hey, you know, we promise that they'll be in future games and stuff like that. They really, I think part of the problem was they kept addressing it. There were so many interviews where they just kept addressing it. I really feel like they should have said it, shut up, let it go, let the fans go nuts, because people did go nuts. I can remember on Junichi Masuda's birthday, he like posted a picture for his birthday, and someone like commented like, bring back all Pokemon or whatever, and he was like, hey, can I just enjoy my birthday? And that was actually a really sad moment. It was one of those moments where like I hope that person like self-reflected and was like, ooh, I'm an idiot, you know? In August, we get a trailer that reveals more Peko and also confirms that regional variants, that thing from Alola, will be happening in Galar 2, specifically showing us Galarian Weezing, Zigzagoon, and Linoone, as well as showing us that there's a new feature with these called Regional Evolutions, where sometimes a regional variant for a Pokemon is able to evolve, whereas their previous counterpart was not able to. They show this with Obstagoon, the new evolution for Galarian Linoone. We then get the reveal of Marnie, Bede, and Team Yell, in that trailer there. I wanted to say Team Skull, but it's Team Yell. We then, a little bit later, at Worlds, get the reveal of some new items. One of Galarian Weezing's ability, Neutralizing Gas, Corviknight's Mirror Armor, and also the move Breaking Swipe. In September, Pokemon is featured in a Nintendo Direct. Nintendo Direct reveals Poltegeist, Cramorant, curry making, and camping, as well as trainer cards, customization, there being multiple alchemy forms. And then a little bit later in September, we get this like Rotom glitch on the site where there's this Pokemon revealed there. It's a fighting type and it has Scrappy as an ability or something like that. And we can't see, or maybe it was Steadfast, but we can't see what the Pokemon is. It's a very blurry Pokemon. It's later revealed in October to be Sirfetch'd. So that was kind of neat. Or maybe it was revealed in September. Either way, Sirfetch'd was revealed shortly after. In October, they start doing some interviews, just kind of giving some more information on how things will work in the game, such as HMs leaving, the experience share being baked in, and some information about the gyms and the culture of the Galar region. We get a live stream that shows off the Glenwood Tangle for 24 hours, and it teases Impidimp some more, and then officially shows off Galarian Ponyta for the first time ever. And then the screen cuts to black, and you hear a Rapidash cry, so it kind of also reveals Galarian Rapidash but we don't get to see it. A little bit later in October, we get a trailer that reveals Gigantamax forms for Pikachu, Eevee, Meowth, Butterfree, and Charizard, so that's pretty big. And then an overview trailer shows off some new features, such as nicknaming unnamed traded Pokemon, you get mints, experience candies, etc., etc. And then before the game's release in November, we do get a trailer that shows off Runerigus and Mr. Rhyme, but doesn't reveal them. It just kind of shows them in passing. So that was a neat little moment. Like I said, I love when they do that kind of stuff. Now, you might say that the next year in 2020 we had DLC, and you're right, we did, but I'm not going to be covering the marketing cycle for DLC because it isn't a new game. Instead, we're going to jump ahead to 2021, where we get the release of BDSP, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, for those who want to say the name long. Now, this game was revealed alongside Legends Arceus, and their marketing cycles ran side by side, but I'm going to be looking at them separately because we're trying to ask which game had the best marketing cycle, and I feel like we got to analyze them on their own to do that. So Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was revealed on Pokemon Day of 2021. With this, we get it revealed that it will be developed by Ilka, not by GameFreak, which is a first for the mainline Pokemon series. We then, in May, at the end of May, get the box art and release date for this game. Now we know it comes out in November. We see a trailer for it in an August Pokemon Presents, and it reveals Switch Lite editions for these games, a Manaphy Egg event that they're going to do, and also some changes to the Grand Underground of Sinnoh and Super Contests. In September, we get a trailer that shows off Amity Square, Poketch features, and Pokemon following you in this game, which was a feature that people liked. And then in October, the previews go out, revealing that experience share is baked into the game, the PC is accessible from anywhere, and some other little new and returning quality of life features. A trailer also shows off in October some light customization, specifically the Platinum outfits, being able to change into those, and it also shows off Team Galactic. Then, before the game's release in November, we get a trailer showing off Ramanas Park, which was how you were able to get past legendary Pokemon from other Pokemon games like Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, etc., etc. So this game was revealed on Pokemon Day 2021, and it released that November. We then have Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was revealed also on Pokemon Day 2021, but it would not come out until the next year. We were told, hey, it's releasing in early 2022. We do get the reveal of this game being set in a Sinnoh of old, it being kind of an action RPG, having seamless battles, and the starters being Cyndaquil, Oshawott, and Rowlet, which was absolutely insane. We find out that this one will be made by Game Freak, unlike Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. We get the box arts for this game in May. That's really it, just the box art and release date, kind of nothing else. And then it's in the August Presents, where it reveals Bastion, Hisuian Growlithe, Hisuian Braviary, which is cool because that tells us regional forms are back, Weirdeer, and then also kind of shows off like the setting of the game, that Pokemon attack you, and people think that Pokemon are evil. It shows off some characters in the Galaxy Expedition team, the new battle styles. This was a hype trailer. I love this trailer, one of my favorite trailers of all time. We then, in September, get a trailer officially revealing Alpha Pokemon, Ride Pokemon, Wardens, and it reveals Noble Pokemon, specifically showing us our first look at Kleavor, the Noble Kleavor, which is a new Scyther evolution, which was pretty big. In October, Pokemon teases that they found some new found footage, and this eventually leads to a reveal of Hisuian forms for Zorua and Zoroark. In November, we don't get much on these games, which makes sense. They wanted to give the spotlight to Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, but some events for having save data is revealed for the game. If you have save data from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you can get Pikachu and Eevee masks. If you have save data from Pokemon Sword and Shield, you get a kimono, and you also get an event that will let you get Shaman and Legends Arceus. So that's a pretty big pool, I think. Then also in November, not really officially marketing, but since Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl released this month, in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl in the Canalave Library, there is a book that details a Quillfish with large spikes, and it's very clearly like supposed to reference Hisui somehow, which kind of teases that Quillfish is getting some kind of regional variant or something. And sure enough, this is the case, because this is actually a tease for how to complete the Manaphy mission in Legends Arceus, and you need an Overquill, the evolved form of Hisuian Quillfish, to do that. In December, there's a new game that pops up on the site for these games that features Ball Guy from Sword and Shield and has a bunch of Hisuian Pokeballs everywhere. This later reveals that there is a Hisuian Voltorb that looks similar to the Hisuian Pokeball, just as regular Voltorb looks like a regular Pokeball, and we even get a cute little stop-motion short for this new form of Voltorb. We then get a trailer that reveals that you'll get us some save data gifts from having Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, specifically a Darkrai mission, and also it reveals the Diamond and Pearl clans, and with it, their leaders, Adaman and Arita. In January, before the release, we get an overview trailer that reveals some gameplay mechanics and features. We get a 3D tour of the Hisui region, and lastly, we get a trailer that reveals that Hisuian Pokemon will be getting new forms for their evolution. So, like, we basically know there's going to be a Hisuian Samurai, Hisuian Decidueye, and Hisuian Typhlosion. We don't get the official reveal of these Pokemon. We just see, like, their silhouettes in the evolution screen, but it was still a really hype thing. Unfortunately, these had already leaked, so, you know, it was hype for the people who didn't know about the leaks. Then we move to where we're currently at, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is revealed on Pokemon Day of 2022. With the reveal of this, we see some shots of the game, and we get the reveal of the starters, Fuecoco, Quaxley, and Sprigatito, but that's really it. We don't get the region name or anything. There's kind of some radio silence on Scarlet and Violet until the first week of June. In fact, the very first day of June gives us a trailer that shows off Palmy, Lechonk, Smoliv, Nemona, the professors, and shows us Corridon and Miraidon. We also get the box art and the release dates for these games, so that's something. But then there's kind of nothing else, except in July they do drop a video of an orchestra performing the theme from Scarlet and Violet. And then finally in August, there's a Pokemon Presents. This Pokemon Presents reveals Fido, Satitan, and the return of regional variants with Paldea and Wooper, though did we know that that was only one of 2 regional variants we were going to get this game. We also see in this trailer Terrastal, and we see some other gym leaders and characters. At the world's closing ceremony, just a little bit later, we get the reveal of Cyclozar, as well as some new moves and some items, and it kind of shows off Terrastal a little bit more. And then a few days later, they tease a new Pokemon by showing like, oh, there's these markings on these trees, what could this be? And then in September, that is revealed to be Grafaiai. We get some more teases to it, some blurry images of it, and eventually we do see, oh, it's this new Pokemon called Grafaiai. So Grafaiai is officially revealed. We then get a trailer that reveals Cloth, Armarouge, Surledge, Penny, Arven, the different paths you can take, like Starfall Street and the Path of Legends, as well as Victory Road. So there being multiple plots throughout the game going on. And with this, we do get to see a OLED edition of the Switch for Scarlet and Violet. We then get a Pokemon ecological study, which is this weird little video they did at like 2 in the morning that gave us Wiglet. It revealed Wiglet to us, so that's something. Also this month, they drop Celestial, a music video done by Ed Sheeran, or a song dubbed by Ed Sheeran, and made with collaboration with Pokemon, and it's even going to be featured in Scarlet and Violet, we're told. I'm a big Ed Sheeran guy, so I actually was a big fan of this, but it seems like there was a lot of mixed reaction to it. I think it's a great song, though. In October, we get an overview of the game, a little, like, 8-minute trailer. This shows off a lot of gameplay footage, quality of life features, and it reveals Farigiraf, a new evolution to Girafarig in this game, which was pretty big. I think a lot of people weren't sure if they do new evolutions in this game, but they did, and it's awesome. Farigiraf is one of the best ones. We then get the reveal of Iono, the electric-type gym leader from Paldea. She teases that there's a new Pokemon she wants to show off, and this ends up being Bellabolt, so we get the reveal of Bellabolt. And then a little bit later in October, we get some more found footage, and this ends up leading to a reveal of Greavard, the little ghost-type dog from the Paldea region. In November, Pokemon teases this like chest that they have, and it ends up being a collab reveal with Go, revealing to us Gimmighoul. And then a little bit before the game's release, we get a teaser that shows off Great Tusk and Iron Treads. It doesn't give us a great look at them, but it kind of name drops them, and now we know they exist, but we still don't have like really any details on them. In fact, a lot of people kind of think that they're Donphan evolutions. It's me again, and yes, this has been a very long video, and I've actually had to make it over multiple days because Legends ZA's marketing cycle has happened, so now I have to cover it. So Legends ZA is really interesting because first they actually revealed this game on Pokemon Day of 2024. This game will not come out until October 16th of 2025. So there was over a year, over 550 days in fact, with us knowing about ZA, but it not having released yet. And the year of 2024 was dry for ZA. There was nothing. There was the reveal of it on Pokemon Day, and the reveal was really like a glorified teaser. Like, it was more like a, hey, this game exists. It said, like, oh, the Lumiose Urban Redevelopment Project. Here's a weird little blueprint-looking trailer that kind of doesn't really tell you anything about the game. Here's the name of the game, Legends ZA. People are able to kind of surmise from that, yeah, Zygarde's going to be a part of the game. And also, they do reveal that, like, this is an action RPG, like Legends Arceus was. And also, in this game, you will be entirely within Lumio City. And also, Mega Evolution will be returning. So, that's it. That's really all we got. And then, Pokemon Day of 2025, so exactly a year later, we get our next trailer. This trailer reveals the starters of the game, Totodile, Chikorita, and Tepig, which I'm still, all this time later, floored that we got 2 Johto starters and a Unova. I'm just mind blown by this. And then they also showed off some Mega Evolutions in the game. Not any new ones, of course, but some old ones. We got to see some characters, like we got to see that AZ and his Floette will be back. We got to see Tawny / Urbane, Jet and Vinny, learn about Quasartico, yada, yada, yada. It's all well and good. Then, about a month later, in a Nintendo Direct, we get the reveal of the ZA Royales, which is this big tournament that's taking place in Lumio City. It's kind of your way of progressing, like gyms and other games, where you're trying to work your way up from rank Z all the way to rank A by battling other trainers. We do see a little bit more of this new real-time battle system. This way, we learn about how you can sneak up on your opponent, that kind of stuff. But again, nothing super substantial beyond that. A week later, we have a Nintendo Direct that's purely for the Switch 2, and we actually get the reveal in it that Legends ZA will be receiving a Switch 2 edition. There's not really any new information other than there is a Switch 2 edition of this game, and then that's it. And then it is a while before we get anything else, but then at the end of May, we do get the box art for these games, which happens to reveal that Emma will be in these games, and also the release date for it, that being, again, October 16th, 2025. They also do announce that, hey, there's going to be a Pokemon Presents on July 22nd, so we kind of all know, okay, that's where we're getting our next Legends ZA news. Then, sure enough, we get in July 22nd, we get the Presents, and this Presents reveals to us the new Rogue Mega Evolutions, which is kind of a new thing that seems to be like the new nobles of the game, if I were to compare it to Legends Arceus. And we get the reveal of a new Mega Evolution for Dragonite, which was really big, because not only does Dragonite finally have something, which is something fans have been asking for a long time, but also it's confirmation that there are new Mega Evolutions in this game, which I think was really, really big, and a lot of people were really wanting that, and I think most of us were thinking it, but it was nice to have that hard confirmation. A little bit later in August, we have the Pokemon World Championships, and at the closing ceremony, they do reveal that there will be player versus player in this game, and in fact, you'll be able to battle, like, 3 other players, so a total of 4 players battling, and there's, like, that's kind of how the player versus player will work. There'll be a ranked mode, and then also just private, casual battles, so that was also a pretty cool reveal. Then, just a little bit later, we get a post from the Pokemon Company. In fact, it was just the very next week, we get a post from the Pokemon Company about some kind of incident in a building, some kind of thing happened. There's a building and there's like a luring thing. We're gonna cover it. 2 days later, we get this trailer where these kids are like exploring this abandoned building, and they end up encountering a man training his Victory Bell. The Victory Bell Mega Evolves, so of course with this we get the reveal of Mega Victory Bell, and they also drop a little like gameplay trailer to show Mega Victory Bell and it. Then the very next week, Pokemon's like on Tuesday, they're like, hey, guess what, guys? There's going to be a big match this Thursday. It's Hawlucha versus Machamp. Thursday rolls around, and Hawlucha versus Machamp happens, and we get to see Hawlucha Mega Evolve. So now we know Mega Hawlucha also exists, and of course, again, we get a gameplay trailer for it. And then the next week, on Wednesday, they're like, or maybe it was Thursday, they go... they drop this video where just a bunch of people are like, I love Malamar. Malamar's the coolest Pokemon ever, you know? And that's kind of it. It's really weird. A little bit later, we find out because some content creators were sent some materials that on the next Wednesday, there will be some kind of video related to Malamar. Oh, what could this be? I wonder. We were all thinking. Not really. We knew exactly what it would be. And sure enough, it is what we all thought. They reveal on that next week Mega Malamar, and again, of course, you get a gameplay trailer for it. Then things get even crazier, because just 2 days after that Malamar reveal, there is a Nintendo Direct. This was a really, really big Nintendo Direct, very long, and honestly, I'm calling it a Nintendo Direct, but as a Pokemon fan, it felt like a Pokemon Presents. Not only did we get the reveal of a new spin-off game, but we got some pretty substantial Legends ZA information. First, we got the reveal that there will be Mega Evolutions for the Kalos starters, that's Greninja, Chestnut, and Delphox. These will be distributed through ranked battle seasons when the game comes out. And then, that's not it. They also go ahead and reveal that Legends ZA DLC will be happening. Legends ZA Mega Dimension. They reveal these 2 Mega Raichus for it, as well as revealing that it is going to be centered around Hoopa. And I know that I said we wouldn't be covering the DLC hype cycles, but this one's actually interesting because this was a part of Legends ZA's hype cycle, not just the DLC hype cycle, because Legends ZA wasn't even out yet, and they announced this DLC for it. So I consider that a part of Legends EA's hype cycle, because to me it was like the promise that, hey, you will have the option to pay to make this game live on even further. So all of that was pretty big. That was said to be the final trailer for Legends EA, and at the time of recording we haven't gotten any kind of teaser or anything else, so that very well may be it for Legends EA's hype cycle. But yeah, so that's all the different hype cycles. In terms of my favorite, oh man, that's so hard. Which one of these is the best? Now, at the end of the day, obviously this will be subjective, right? Like, people who want everything revealed will probably really like Pokemon Sun and Moons, while people who want a lot less revealed will probably cling more to Scarlet and Violets. I am somewhere in between there. I feel like Sword and Shield had a great example of a hype cycle. I feel like X and Y, I think, was my favorite hype cycle, but I don't think that's necessarily because of the Pokemon Company, but because of all the mystery there, you know? We didn't really have gimmicks back then, so them revealing this new Mewtwo form without really saying what it was, and us thinking it could even be a new Pokemon, it could be Mew 3, that was really insane in itself. And that allowed for a lot of mystery. Then dropping the new evolution, being like, we won't say what type it is, that also created a lot of like fan speculation. So just the whole hype cycle was focused on like revealing things, but kind of getting the fans involved with speculating, and I really, really enjoyed that. I do really enjoy Sword and Shield. That's when you start seeing these more fun types of reveals, like the Glimwood Tangle live stream, like the Surfetched website hack and all, and this was something that carried on, as we saw with Legends Arceus, Scarlet and Violet, and Legends ZA. And Legends ZA's was also very, very good. Like, I love what they did, you know, how most of the Megas got some kind of special reveal, you know, with Malamar, it was the My Friend Malamar campaign, Hawlucha had Hawlucha versus Machamp, and then Victory Bell had the whole urban exploring incident video. And I really like that. It allows these Pokemon to really stick out in your minds, and for you to kind of love them, I think, a little bit more than if they just, you know, are like, hey, look, there's this Pokemon. So I liked those, but ultimately with Legends EA, I don't feel like I can give it that because, again, they revealed this game and said nothing about it for a year, and then even after they revealed it, it was pretty slow until, like, we hit that 2 months from the game's release mark, and that just personally wasn't enough for me. So ultimately, I gotta give it to X and Y, with Sword and Shield being a very, very close second. But let me know after watching all this. First off, if you made it this far, thank you so much, and look at you, you trooper. But also, just let me know what hype cycle you thought was the best. Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. CA's coming out soon, and then pretty soon we'll be in the Gen 10 hype cycle, which is a wild thought. I'll see all of you later.